Has anybody seen those Sharknado movies? There's like a million of them. There's Sharknado 1 and 2 and 3, and I think there's 4, and there's probably like Sharks in Space or something ridiculous. My point is, those movies were completely and utterly unnecessary. Nobody asked for them, or maybe you did ask for them. Maybe you really like movies about sharks and tornadoes, but genuinely, I don't think anybody asked for those movies. The same can be said about Brahms the Boy too. I don't think many people even saw the first Brahms movie. I haven't seen the box office numbers, so I can't say for sure, but it just feels like a really weird movie to be getting a sequel to. But we've got a sequel, and is it worth seeing in the movie? No. Save your money. I honestly don't even think this movie is worth downloading. It's boring. It's just really boring. So basically, the plot of the movie is that they have a family who's been through this traumatic event. They've gotten robbed and the wife was attacked. And the son saw the whole thing and it's rendered him mute because he's so traumatized by what he's gone through. So the family pack up and head for the country because that's what people do in horror movies. They think that the country has no problems like the city, like it's just going to be perfect out there, but that's where the demons all live apparently. Anyway, so they go to the country and the boy finds the doll and becomes obsessed with the doll, and the doll has like all these rules that need to be followed or things go bad. And look, the acting was good, I will say that. Everybody was good in terms of acting, especially the little boy. Kids in horror movies can struggle a lot, but this boy did a good job. That's the only good thing I can think about this movie. Honestly, there's nothing else that comes to mind. It was just boring. And the thing that I didn't like is that the original was not a supernatural movie, and it feels like it isn't in the same universe at all. Like it just doesn't link together. And you don't need to see the first movie to enjoy this movie at all. Honestly, like I said, it just doesn't really seem to link together. And I feel like they sort of ripped off the Annabelle movies a tiny bit, because like the kid has this paperboard with a pen that he writes on so that he can communicate, and that was sort of done in Annabelle, like not with somebody communicating. That Annabelle would use paper with writing on it to scare people like they did in this movie. And look, this movie had a lot of potential because I love evil doll movies. They're some of my favourite movies. But this just fell flat. It didn't use any of the potential it had. It didn't offer up any true horror. It was just all build up and no payoff. And you know what would have been cool if we'd seen like an Annabelle and Brahms the Boy team up movie where they were like evil doll boyfriend and girlfriend. How cool would that have been? Or if we add in like Chucky and Tiffany and we have like the Avengers Endgame squad of evil dolls, that would have been cool. I would have paid to see that movie. But this movie, no, not so much. Like they had this one moment where Katie Holmes' character was screaming in the doll's face, trying to get a reaction out of the doll, and that was probably the worst jump scare I've ever seen in a horror movie, and I have seen a lot of bad jump scares in horror movies. Look, this was just unnecessary, and the fact that the way that it ended left it open for another sequel, which I really, 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 really hope doesn't happen. And the fact that they turned it supernatural when it was completely unnecessary, and I'm all for evil supernatural doll movies, like I said, but they can never do it right. I think Chucky is the only one that they've ever really gotten right. Anyway, so at the end of the movie, the kid is possessed by the doll, and we find out that the doll is inside of him. Well, at least I think that's how it ended, in my opinion. If you think that I'm wrong, feel free to tell me in the comments down below. But yeah, I feel like that was a really cliche ending that we've seen so many times in horror movies before, where they try to burn the doll and it didn't work after all, and it just felt like it was all this build up and it wasn't really a good ending. So it's like sometimes in the last few minutes of the movie it can redeem itself if it's really good. This movie just had no payoff at all. And the director of this movie is actually going to direct a prequel to the Orphan movie. So the Orphan movie was a horror movie that was made like 10 years ago, and it was a really, really good movie. I recommend that movie. And it's starring Vera Farmiga, who I think is an amazing actress. She was in the Conjuring universe and Bates Motel. So this prequel has a lot of potential. But once again, with this director behind it, I really don't have high hopes. But who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe he'll learn from his mistakes and get better. Anyway, so yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this movie, and please help me out and subscribe if you like what I have to say and you want to see more. That would be really, really great. And as for my rating, probably 6 out of 10, probably more like 5 if I'm being honest. But I'm in a generous mood. I'll say 6 out of 10.